From Radio DePaul, Chicago's college connection.
My father spent 3 years restoring this car. It is his love. It is his passion.
I have an unnatural passion for rocks.
I learned to feel things I'd never felt before. Love, jealousy, passion for disemboweling.
Look at all the passion on that wall.
Well, jazz flute has always been a small passion of mine.
It's a bathroom. It's not just a bathroom, David. It's a passion project.
My passion project. Destroying someone else's passion project.
This is Passion Project with your host, Peyton Baisden.
It is indeed. That's always really exciting. I don't know. It excites me when it's like, whoa, it's Passion Project. Because, guys, guess what? Guess what it is right now? It's time for Passion Project. Welcome back. It's another week, which means we've got another guest, another fantastic time, and another bout of discussion surrounding a new topic. So first, let me start off by introducing our guest. How would you describe yourself in 10 words or less?
My name is Kathy. I like to be funny.
That was perfect. That was 10 words or less, and I think that's a great. That's Kathy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you so much for having me, Peyton.
Yeah. How are you? How's it been? How's life?
Oh, I'm delightful. I'm having a good time. I'm nearing the end of my college career.
Oh, ooh. What's that like?
Oh, it's terrifying.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it is. I'll say it. I'll be the first to say it. It's kind of scary to graduate college. But I'm mostly enjoying it. I'm trying to make the most of it. You know how it is.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
As someone who will hopefully one day graduate.
Hopefully.
We're not too dissimilar. There's still a lot of time. Something terrible could happen.
Oh.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
manifesting it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I put that out in the world and I'm taking it back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as you were describing to me earlier a bit of the process of what it takes to graduate, and just in terms of like you went furniture shopping today, and that sounded like
it was quite an adventure.
Yeah.
Furniture is far more expensive than anyone would reasonably pay for, I would say. I went furniture shopping on Halstead by North and Clybourne, and those were the most expensive places I'd ever walked into. And I was wearing a DePaul t-shirt and a backpack and did not look like I could afford a $3,000 chair, yet these employees were still telling me that I should buy them.
Yeah, I think that's really funny. Sometimes this phenomenon happens where something that is used for practicalness, like a table or chair, it becomes art, and then people are like, "Oh, it's my artistic expression, and this chair is crafted by hand with these techniques, and now it's $3,000 for wood." For
wood, yes, and it will be $4,000 if it's leather.
Ooh.
That was a big topic of conversation between me and Nick, was his name, at unnamed furniture store. I don't want to out.
We don't
want
to. Yeah.
I don't want to get anything in trouble or make him feel bad because he was great.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything bad about Nick. I just want to say that I did not look like I could afford furniture of that quality, yet he still wanted to tell me about the history of furniture designers in Chicago.
Ooh, and how their lasting legacy
creates
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Since the 50s and 60s, these people have been around.
I wonder if there's movements in furniture. Like, what does a postmodern chair look like?
Okay, this is what I was confused about too, because he did ask me what my style was, and I said soft, which is not the correct answer. And he went, "Do you mean like modern?" And I go, And then he said, "Well, do you like some antique?" And I go, "I don't know." And he points out a chair that has wood on it. And I go, "Yeah, sure, I like that." I don't know. I don't have answers for you, Peyton. I just know that there are postmodern chairs, there are antique chairs, there are modern chairs, and there was one that looked like it was a lamb, and it was a chair.
Like a lamb, like the animal.
Like a lamb, yeah.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I'd sit in that.
I don't know what that category is, but
It's I think that's the new wave is like farm animal furniture.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All this to say, you're getting furniture because you are moving back home to the great state of Minnesota. Well, okay. Sorry.
Nuances.
You're moving 20 minutes away from the great state of Minnesota.
Like less than.
Than
I will
20
live on
minutes
the border between North Dakota and Minnesota. It'll be a 5-minute journey via car to get into the great state of Minnesota of 10,000 lakes.
And as a proud North Dakotan, I don't think there isn't much happening in the realm of sports in North Dakota.
Not one bit.
But Minnesota
has sports.
Has got it happening. So Kathy, tell me, what are you here to talk about today?
I, when prompted about something that I feel passionate about, immediately answered the Minnesota Twins, and then I rescinded that and just said Minnesota sports in general. So I'm excited to talk about Minnesota sports because I love them so dearly.
So, in preparation for this episode, I did research. I did one. And that research consisted of going to the Wikipedia page of Minnesota sports teams. And there's a bunch of awesome ones that range from esports to, again, like the highest echelon of national football. So tell me, what are your specific Minnesotan interests?
Yeah. My niches are specifically with the Minnesota Twins, the baseball team, the MLB, some may say, and the Minnesota Vikings, the NFL. Those are my two favorite. I respect the Timberwolves, the basketball team, the NBA team. I respect them. I'm not a follower or fan per se, but I respect them. They're doing very well this season. I will put that out there.
That's good.
So everyone knows. And I don't care about hockey as a sport at all, so I have no comment on the Minnesota Wild.
All right. Taking the segueing off of that, can you talk about like the history of like Minnesota as a town in like sports and just like winners? Because here in Chicago, it feels like we're losing all the time, always, which I think is really silly. Except one glorious time in 2016 that was life changing.
Yeah.
And then back to status quo. So as a Minnesotan, do you feel like you've got like quality teams to root behind?
No, but yes. Perchance, the Minnesota Twins have won the World Series 3 times. Not in my life. The Minnesota Vikings, you did research. I believe they've never won.
They have not.
They've never won the
They have
Super
not.
Bowl. I believe the fact is that Minnesota, specifically Minnesota sports, is the only like sports state, town, what have you, that has all 4 major league teams and has not won a major league title in this century.
Really?
I believe that's a fact. I saw that the other day and I said,
from my research on the Vikings and Twins, that would be correct.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for the other two, but
I can't imagine recent
what
years.
I found interesting is that the Vikings have one of the highest win percentages in the entire league. Like, they win a lot, but not enough, or not the right games.
Not the right games is really where we've been at. Specifically the Twins, too. I'd say both teams choke in the playoffs. The Minnesota Twins had the longest stretch of losing in the playoff ever, by any sport. It was 18 years since they'd won a playoff game, I believe is the number. Maybe not. Yeah, 18. I think it was like 2003, the last time they had won a playoff game. The last time they'd won a playoff series, I believe, was 2000. So they lose a lot in the playoffs, and so do the Vikings. In recent memory, we haven't made it past the first or second game. So there is not a lot of long-term hope for Minnesota sports within the playoffs. But we do love the seasons. The highs and lows of Minnesota sports is very prevalent.
Which is exciting. It's cool to have it, like, you can go to a game and watch your team win, which is cool. Yeah. That's not something I can really say about the Chicago Bears.
No. No, you can't.
But with the Vikings, you're down to get a quality game. I believe the statistic was in all of their NFL seasons, they've won at least 3 games. And I think they're one of the only teams to do that.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
They win. They play.
Because the Bears have definitely
they have not
Not won 3 games in seasons.
No.
Plural.
And we know we're working on it. Longtime rivals. The first game the Vikings played in the NFL was against the Bears.
Wow, fun
and the
fact.
Bears lost.
Oh, that's good.
Which is silly, and that started a lifelong rivalry. I mean, which is not as crazy as a person who grew up on the Bears. It's always the Packers. It's like you gotta hate the Packers.
Everyone hates the Packers, and that's why I think that the Bears and the Vikings fans can unite in that we both hate the Packers more than we hate each other.
Yeah. Because the Packers are crazy.
They're terrible. We hate them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's interesting. So like the idea of the main thought in like the Bears and Chicago sports is like, it's okay because since we're sucking the worst, we can pull out a great draft pick. Maybe we don't, but you could. And we fumble it. Is there like a thought going forward in Minnesota with the Vikings of like what's the great trajectory?
Yeah, the great trajectory right now is focused on re-signing Justin Jefferson. That is the sole focus of the Minnesota Vikings as a franchise. They do want to re-sign. The streets are saying that the Vikings are looking to re-sign Kirk Cousins, our current quarterback of 6 or so seasons.
All right.
For a 2 to 3 year, very team-friendly deal, not very expensive. And then the hope would be to also sign a rookie quarterback, maybe not number 1 prospect, but a good quarterback that has some prospect that can be trained into the system, like a Jordan Love, and do that. So that's kind of the hope for the Minnesota Vikings right now. They're hoping that get Justin Jefferson back. Today I saw a number that they're looking at $30 million a season for Justin Jefferson.
Nice.
You heard it here.
Good for him.
Yeah.
If he takes that. Now, I've never personally attended a football game. I've never been to a stadium to see a football game, which is interesting.
That's so sad.
I cry about it most days.
I've been to Soldier Field, Peyton, and you haven't?
I have not.
That's so. I'm sorry.
Maybe one day I will.
But now they don't play there anymore.
No,
that's so sad, Peyton. I'm sorry.
I actually went to the horse racing track that they bought and are now moving to.
Yeah.
So I've been there, but I haven't been to Soldier Field.
Wow.
Tragically. My point being, could you describe, how was your experience? You've been to a Vikings game, I presume.
I've been to a few Vikings games.
Could you describe it to me?
It's electric. There's something about an indoor football game specifically, I'd say, that is really exciting in that, the sound doesn't travel. So it gets very loud in there. But also onto that is
in addition onto that.
Further, the Minnesota Vikings stadium is beautiful. Viewers, listeners, you got to look up this stadium. It is built like a ship. It is in honor of the Norwegian traditions of the Vikings. And it is beautiful inside and out. It is glass on the ceilings. It's beautiful. We do a skull chant at the beginning and during games throughout the game. It's very fun.
I was doing some research into the history of their facilities, and I figured out, is it U.S. Bank?
Yes,
Stadium
US
is
Bank.
where they've ended up, and I looked it up, and I'm like, wow, this is like in a similar way to how I'm like, this is postmodern, very like the sharp geometric shapes, but the glass creates this exciting thing. But then I saw the cute little there's ships, there's sails, and there's a big whatever the head of the ship is, one of those.
The mast?
Yeah, the mast. There's a mast probably somewhere.
Yeah, there is. I've seen it.
Yeah. It's awesome. And then you also have a big Gallerhorn, just like a huge one.
It's huge.
That I'd learned when it got too cold, it cracked. So they made another one.
Oh, I didn't know
This is the second one.
This is a
fun
second
fact.
one.
Yeah, if you go.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that. No, the Gallerhorn is something like that.
It's a Norse mythology thing.
Yeah, Norse thing. It's awesome. So at the last game I went to, Mr. Kirk Cousins, the love, the best.
Yeah.
He got injured this season.
Oh, no.
For the listeners that don't follow football, Kirk Cousins is our quarterback. He got injured week 6, 7, 8 maybe, and he tore his Achilles, which is
Ooh,
a
that's
season-ending injury.
Yeah.
But it was like the second to last game of the season at home, the last game of the season at home specifically, and I was there. It was New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
And who but Kirk Cousins walks off onto the stadium platform to blow the Gallagher horn and initiate the start of the game.
Wow.
The crowd.
That's powerful.
That was the loudest atmosphere I've ever been in.
That's fantastic.
Everyone was screaming and crying for Kirk Cousins.
Did they win?
No, we lost to the Packers.
Dang.
And I don't need to talk about
yeah,
that
let's
part.
move on. Awesome, fantastic. Oh, they've moved around a little because I was trying to figure out, because the Twins shared facilities at some point. But then you described to me a tragic story, which I was not aware of, but I think it's particularly funny.
I think listeners need to know about this.
Yeah.
So the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Vikings used to share a stadium that was called the Metrodome, and it was a dome in that it was a bubble. If you've ever been to, I don't know, our hometown used to have a little bubble that people played indoor golf in.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
There was like a
sports
soccer
bubble.
one.
Yeah. Soccer. Yeah. So it was just that, but it was big enough for a football field. And one fateful day in 2010.
2010, yes.
The dome burst. It burst. It had so much snow on it because there was a snowstorm because it was Minnesota that it burst and all the snow fell in. The stadium's goner. And for like 2 or 3 seasons, the Vikings had to play at the Minnesota University Stadium. Well, they rebuilt the stadium into US Bank Stadium on the same grounds as the Metrodome.
Ooh.
Yes.
Rose from the ashes.
Rose from the ashes, yeah.
One of the greatest stadiums in your opinion.
One of the greatest.
Did you say it was ranked number 1? The Vikings were ranked number 1.
Yes, in player satisfaction.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It goes to show how successful they are as an organization. Even if they don't win playoff games or Super Bowls.
Even if they don't win.
They're still winning.
They're still winning in their hearts because they're having fun. They're eating good food.
As someone who comes from Chicago, I am very happy you have a team you can go to and have a good time and watch them win.
Thank you.
That means that's a lot. That goes a long way.
Yes.
But speaking of Chicago, I've always been more of a Chicago baseball fan, and we can pivot here to check in on the good old Minnesota Twins.
The Minnesota Twins.
I have been. I know I've been to a Twins game. I've been in. Do they play in Minneapolis?
Yeah,
they do. Yeah.
You went to Target Field.
I've been there. It was a great time. I loved it. I believe I don't know if I've seen them play here. I might have. I don't remember. But I feel like I've seen the Twins
play here
multiple
too
times.
often.
Yeah.
Unless you went to a Sox game, because they're in the other division.
Yeah.
So they don't play the Cubs too often.
I've been to more Sox games, but I know I have been to Target Field.
Yes.
And to see the Twins, and it was a grand old time. So give me your opinions, your ratings.
I love Target Field more than most other places. That is, when people talk about third places, Target Field is mine. When I get there, I just feel at home. I feel at ease. We have a ritual in my family. We all go to games together. We would get there, 2 hours early for no apparent reason to wait in line, in case there's a promotion.
Right. Get your free Twins hat, shirt, bobblehead.
Yeah. And we get in there. We find our seats, even though we sit in the same section every time. And then we promptly get back up and go get our food, which normally consists of mini, donuts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Delicious. Or we get these little sliders, these little mini sliders that have bacon and cheese and hamburger.
Awesome.
My new favorite is they got a new chicken, fried chicken place that can actually, I think they have like a rotisserie chicken you can buy. I can't imagine how much that would cost at an MLB stadium, but I think you can buy it.
I would love to go to a Twins game and get a whole chicken
to
eat. That would be fantastic. What is your the Twins have not won in this new century.
No.
What is your diagnosis of their current state? How do you
we're
bring
in
the
it.
Twins from zero to hero?
Oh, we're in it, Peyton. Peyton, this is our season.
Right.
I know everyone says that when they follow sports, but this is our season, boy. We have Royce Lewis. Royce Lewis has hit last season. That was his rookie season. He hit 4 grand slams that season. Are you
nice?
What? He didn't even play the whole season because he was injured. 4 grand slams. What situation is a person in to hit 4 grand slams? He is unheard of. We got Royce Lewis. We got Carlos Correa, who is a long been around baseball. He's like 28, 30 maybe. I don't know. But ages are weird in baseball.
They are.
But he's been around for a while. He's phenomenal. He's our shortstop. We got Eddie Julian on second base, this will be his second year in the team in the playoff, not in the playoffs, in the major leagues. He is so smart, Peyton. His statistic that I don't know the statistic of, but I know it is a statistic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He is like one of the top 2 in lowest swing rate. Like when it's a ball, like okay. So he knows when it's a ball or a strike, if that makes sense. When it's a ball, he's like the least likely to swing at it.
Awesome.
In like MLB.
That's
this
impressive.
man's smart. He's our second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
And our first baseman, we don't really know who it's going to be. There's some toss-up. We got a new person recently signed that'll probably be it, that's been around for a while. Big slugger.
Awesome.
This is our season, Peyton. We broke the curse last year, the 18-year curse of winning playoff games, and we're back for more.
That's fantastic. I did read, which is an interesting fact. The Twins were one of the only teams to win the World Series in a home sweep, all 4 games.
Yes.
Way back yonder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe it'll happen again.
It could. Oh, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Oh, I got shivers.
Who knows?
Just thinking about it.
Who knows? Well, do you have any final sort of thoughts, words, closing remarks for the Twins, for the Vikings, for the fans?
I just need everyone that's listening to know that I, Kathy Thompson, have made it on to Twins Twitter. It was a big accomplishment of mine. I have a few different people on Twins Twitter that follow me now, and that's really important to me. But really, I just need everyone to know that I love the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Vikings more than anyone else. And if you ever disrespect a Minnesota player, I'm going to be really mad at you.
All right. Fantastic parting wisdoms. I wish you the best of luck in your future in sports, in your future in life,
Thank you, Peyton.
In all that jazz. I look forward to watching Minnesota dominate this season.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you have it. I don't have much faith in the Cubs or the Sox. But who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Maybe
Bellinger's back for real.
We'll see what happens.
It could be good.
But that's the beauty of sports.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but we will sure find out. Thank you so much, Kathy. This has been a fantastic time. And that is time for our week, for this week. We will be back next week, don't worry, with a spectacular episode. I know it already. But thank you for this spectacular episode. Where can they find you? Do you want them to find you?
Oh,
or you disappear into the void?
I am disappearing.
Yeah.
So if they want to find me, I'm in Seton Hall.
Yeah. Go to explore North Dakota. You'll find Kathy eventually.
Be legendary.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you have a passionate project. I'm workshopping it. We'll figure it out. But catch you on the flip. Have a great week.